Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Fade and Fire. And today, instead of going through our whole move list, we're just going to talk about key moves. Because even though she might have, some moves in her move list, there's only a certain amount of moves that you're going to use. So we're going to talk about those. Alright, so first I wanted to talk about her down 4 and her 3+4. Now, like I said before, her 3+4 is for people who really don't know about her, and you get quick damage off of it. You could spam it. But once you start going up the ranks and people get more experienced and they've seen Eliza more, you're not gonna use this move much, if at all. This move is gonna become useless. Now I'm gonna tell you why this move is gonna become useless. First, it's 20 frames, like 23, 24 frames, right? Not only is it 23, 20 frames, which means it's seeable. Once you get in the 20 frame range, you're going to start seeing moves. So not only is it seeable, right? So somebody could, I actually played against Eliza, and every time she used this move, I could visually see she was doing it, right? And plus there's like kind of like a sound cue to it. So I could visually see, right, down block. And once you down block it, right? So have her record that. So if I have her do the move, right? I visually see it. I could visually see that, right? So like in the 20 frames, I could visually see and I could visually block that. Not only is it like minus 20, it's like not only is it a 20 frame startup, it's like also a minus like 25 or something like that, which basically means you could get punished however you want, right? Because you can see the visual block stun on it. Another thing why this move is gonna start to become not so good is because it's a low, so it's supposed to be highs, right? So if you go under, right, but you kind of like start out jumping, and it's not like Josie's butterfly edge where she kind of like jumps, where she starts crouching and then she jumps over, right? So sometimes it'll be mids or something like that, like crazy like that. She just starts off jumping and she's airborne. So if I have her, right, so since it's a low, essentially it's supposed to be highs, right? So if I start off and okay, I want to beat that high, right? But since I start off jumping, I get hit. And you could say that, it also beats lows because she goes in the air. Well, the funny thing about that is sometimes she will get beat out. So I don't know if I'll be able to time this properly, but and it's happened to me bunch of times, right? It happened to me a lot with Brian's snake edge. His snake edge hits me all the damn time when I use 3+4. I'm telling you, right? I'll try to time it perfectly. I know a snake edge is coming. I try to jump, right? So I jump over, and then as I'm coming down, his snake edge will hit me and I'll get fully comboed off of it. Right, so there's a lot of unfortunate things with this move that happens sometimes, right? That happen sometimes that are not worth the risk. It's just not worth the risk. So as you go higher and higher in the ranks, you're not going to use this move much. Now, what you will use though is this move right here. This move is good. Even though it is launch punishable, it's harder to see, right? You can't like visually see that unless you're just like, on top of things, because it's a 16 frame startup and it's a high crush. So and there is no like flugazy type deal where it just like gets hit by highs or something like that, right? So if she throws out a high, you can see that I beat it. And on counter hit, right? So if it's a counter hit, it will also knock down into a full combo, right? So if you're able to counter hit somebody, multiple counter, right? So if you're able to counter hit somebody, it will counter hit, and I do have some combos on that, so you go check it out if you want to. But so you're most likely going to be using this move, right? And so you're gonna essentially throw this move out, right? This move has a bunch of risk to it. I'm telling you guys, every time I use this move, I get jabbed out because she starts, high, and then you could get juggled off of it because you're airborne and other, bunch of shenanigans like that. Launch punishable, as well as this move, right? So I am going to tell you guys the frame data is, so it doesn't really matter how launch punishable this thing is because it has a block stun. So I could sit here and tell you numbers, but I just want you to understand that once you get this block stun animation, right, this animation right here, right, it doesn't matter how minus it is, right, because you're going to be able to get hit by like pretty much anything. They could stand back up and hop kick you, right, they could stand back up and hit you with a 15 frame launcher, right. There's a bunch of things that they could do once you get that visual stun where she's like almost falling to the ground, right. There's a bunch of things they could do. They could wall rise in 3, they could wall rise in 2, they could do pretty much whatever they want. So even though that move is punishable on block, it's much better because it's a high crush, and on counter hit it is a hard knockdown and you could get a combo off of it. So instead of using this, highly recommend that you use this. But you can use this for, you know, the lower ranks when people don't see it as much, you know, and people have weak feet as they call it and they get hit by lows a lot. You can just, you know, use this. But once you start climbing the ranks, I'm telling you, people are going to start seeing that and they're going to start jabbing you out of it, and it's going to become horrendous. All right, another one of her key moves is her back four. Back four is super key. Her main launcher, right, because you could go into back four off a Dark Blade, right, main launcher. So and not only is it her main launcher, but it kind of has, you see that range it has some good range. So if somebody whiffs something, let's have her do like a magic 4 or something. So say if she like whiffs 4, right, so say if I'm out of range and she whiffs it, right, that's a straight punish, and the distance that I have is very good, right. You could get some very good range off her back 4, and don't forget that's a full punish, right. So and it also has great wall carry. All right, so you're already at the wall, which is awesome, right. So her back 4 is really good. Now I think her back four, first of all, the startup is 15 frames. So anything more than 14 frames, so say if they do a 14 frame move, so actually I'll show you right here. So this is 15 frames, right? So 15 frame startup. Now it's minus 14. So if I try to punish her with a back 4, since back 4 is minus 14, I can't get minus 15 through. Now, but like I said, it is minus 14 on block, so you will be able to get like something like that, or you know, like a Dark Blade, you know, something like that, because it is minus 14 on block. But the very tricky thing about this move is, so if I have her do back 4, right, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna punish that. Now you have to remember that back 4 can be canceled. So if they do try to punish it, even if they try to jab it out, since back 4 can be immediately canceled, you can't interrupt the Dark Blade that's coming. So say if you just keep throwing back 4s out, back 4, they're like, okay, I know that move is punishable. Next time you back 4, I'm about to, you know, his assy ass, grassy ass. Right? So if you back 4 and then Dark Blade, that move is going to beat it out because that cannot be interrupted. So back 4 essentially becomes safe, but you will have to be careful with throwing this out because this is also, her Dark Blade is launch punishable. So you have to be careful with that. But we'll talk about that in another key moves video. I only have a certain set of moves that I already have in mind. So this move is 15 frame startup, so it's a 15 frame launcher, and minus 14 on block, but you can't cancel into it and it'll make it interruptible. So this move is very key, and it has nice spacing, or I mean nice kind of like a forward movement to it. So it is good for whiff punishing. If somebody whiffs something out here and they step forward, you can easily whiff punish that with back 4. That's my main whiff punish tool, and it equals so much damage and so much wall carry. Back 4 is awesome. Alright, so for our last move, we're gonna have her Dark Cannon with 4. Now this move is key. This move is gonna be very key, and we're not gonna get into all the confusing shit, right? Like her instant air dive kick, because that would make things a lot more complicated. We'll talk about that in another video. So as you can see, you could visually see this, right? You could visually see her doing her Dark Cannon. So it's 25 on the startup, but so that is a long startup, right? But the great thing about this move is it is plus on block as well as plus on hit. Now the funny thing about this move is it ranges, right? So on block, it could be either +9 if you hit them at like the highest of ranges, right? Which is like either you could like jump and hit them here and they block it, or you could hit them around here. So it ranges from +9 to I think it's +15. And at +15, it would be like the lowest range you could hit, right? Which is right about there. So it varies on how plus it is on where you hit the actual person on block. So if you hit them way up here, it's only going to be about like +9, +8, somewhere around there. But this move is always plus on block. Now, you have to keep in mind that this move is linear. It's linear. So what I mean by linear is I see a lot of people doing this. Now, that's great for people who don't know how to deal with Eliza, but if I record her doing that, I'm not even recording. Right, since it's plus on block, they're like, all right, let me keep the pressure on, let me down one, get them into this kind of like confused state and all that. You have to keep in mind that even though you can do this over and over again, it can't be sidestepped. So since it's such a linear move and it has a long startup and it's plus on block, but since the move has such a long startup, there's some point in time where you could sidestep it. Right, so like if you sidestep it right, that is actually kind of difficult to deal with. So the people who do use it, they are at an advantage when they do that. But this move is very linear, right? It has no homing on it. They call it homing moves. So if you keep doing this and they learn the timing to sidestep it, it will be difficult. As you saw, I sidestepped there, but I was kind of like cornered in the wall, right? So there is like a point at which you could sidestep that and you could get out of it, right? So she was no longer able to hit me because I sidestepped it. So that move has no homing on it, and if they don't know how to deal with it, sure, you could do that all day. But if they do know how to sidestep that, because they know they can see it's kind of linear and it has no homing, you can sidestep that move. And then if you try to go for another one, as you saw, she kind of like whiffed her down one, and then they could get a full punish off that. So be careful, because I see a lot of people doing that. I see a lot of people doing it. When I fought an Eliza player, she was doing it a lot, and I know you can sidestep that. So be careful with doing that. I would recommend only doing about twice, right, to add on the pressure. And then the great thing, if they do try to sidestep, right, if they do try to sidestep, you have other moves that are really good. So say if they try to sidestep and you go with like something like that does have a lot of homing, like this move, right? So if they do it twice, right, then like, all right, I'm gonna sidestep that next one. All right, let me sidestep, bam, and then you have a lot of homing on that. So you can add in like mind tricks like that, but like I said, that move, or you could just do her down four if you think they're gonna try to do something immediately after sidestepping and get a counter hit. But that is a dangerous game to play, because both of those moves are punishable on block. But that is all I got for you guys in this key video, this key moves video. I am going to talk about more of her key moves. If you're curious about one of her key moves, put it down in the comments below and I will talk about it. But this is just part one, so don't worry, this is not like all she can use. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.